Hey guys, if you watched some of my videos, I've done a solar system video about the 8 planets plus the 2 dwarf planets and the regions. If you want to see that video, link will be in the description. But this time, we're going to talk about the 5 dwarf planets. Dwarf planets are sort of like planets, but not quite the same. Dwarf planets are different from planets because the criteria are different. One, it has to have enough mass to be round. It must have an individual orbit around the sun and not with another planet. With dwarf planets, you have to orbit the sun with space debris, but with planets, it must clear its orbit of space debris. So the first dwarf planet is Ceres. Ceres is the closest dwarf planet to our sun, and it was the 5th planet from the sun. Unlike the other dwarf planets, Ceres is also an asteroid too. Ceres might have an internal ocean that supports life, and it does have a thin atmosphere of water vapor. Ceres is the largest asteroid in the solar system, but the smallest dwarf planet in the solar system, and it's tiny compared to the Earth. And just like Mercury and Venus, it doesn't have any moons. Those bright spots in Ceres' Occator crater are probably sodium carbonates. And then we'll have Pluto. Pluto is the 2nd dwarf planet from the sun, and just like Ceres, it used to be a planet, and it was the 9th planet from the sun. Pluto has an atmosphere of methane, carbon monoxide, and mostly nitrogen, and it can have an internal ocean on it that supports life. Pluto is bigger than all the other dwarf planets, but it's still smaller than the Earth. Pluto has 5 moons, more than all the other 4 dwarf planets' moons combined. The largest moon, Ceres, is very large compared to Pluto. Because of that, they're called a double dwarf planet. The other 4 moons, Nix, Styx, Hydra, and Kerberos, are tiny and have obnoxious shapes. Pluto is a trans-Neptunian object and a part of the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune. And next we'll have Haumea. Haumea is the 3rd dwarf planet from the sun. Haumea is not round like the other 4 dwarf planets. It's more oval or egg-shaped because it spins really fast. It's one of the solar system's fastest rotating large objects, and it only takes 3.9 hours for it to rotate, and it's the 2nd smallest dwarf planet after Ceres. Just like the other dwarf planets, Haumea is smaller than the Earth. Haumea has 1 ring, and it has 2 moons, Namaka and Hiaka, which are named from Hawaiian mythology, like Haumea. Just like Pluto, you can find this object out past Neptune in the Kuiper Belt. Haumea does not have an atmosphere at all. Next up is Makemake. Makemake is the 4th dwarf planet from our sun, and is the 3rd largest dwarf planet in the solar system, and is out past Neptune in the Kuiper Belt. Scientists have recently found signs of an internal ocean on Makemake where there can be life. Makemake has 1 moon, MK2, which stands for Makemake 2, and it is 1,300 times darker than Makemake. When astronomers used stellar occultations, we discovered that Makemake does not have an atmosphere. Just like all the other dwarf planets, Makemake is smaller than the Earth. Makemake is the reddest dwarf planet in the solar system. And the final dwarf planet is Eris, or Eris. Eris is the 5th dwarf planet from our sun, and it was the 10th planet from the sun. And again, just like all the other dwarf planets, Eris is smaller than Earth. Eris has one moon, Haumea, which is quite large compared to it, just like Pluto and Ceres. Scientists have found signs of an internal ocean on it where there can be life at the same time with Makemake. So that leaves all 4 dwarf planets to have an internal ocean with life except Haumea. Eris is the 2nd largest dwarf planet, and it's actually the most massive one, which means it's heavier than all the other dwarf planets in the solar system. So, you learned a fair amount of info about the 5 dwarf planets. Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris. I hope you enjoyed the dwarf planet intro video. In the future, I'll make videos that go out more in depth of each dwarf planet to learn more about them. So when those videos are out, I'll modify the link in the description and put the 5 videos in there. But stay tuned for those videos. So thank you for watching. Bye. Before I go, if you didn't quite get that, if not, no worries. You can just rewatch the video as many times as you need to get it memorized, and if you want to, you can just take some notes like I did. Well, bye-bye for real this time.